I'm Duncan Green. Welcome to Gym Hacks, your daily 10-minute dose of tips, techniques and innovations to make your fitness club stand out, more fun to run and more profitable. 600 seconds of takeaways that will make a difference. Our aim is to provide the very best free content on the web for you gym owners and operators. If you like our content, register for our free 6-week exponential growth formula program. We're helping fitness club professionals generate the maximum revenues possible. Register below to enroll on the next program, which starts on the 1st of next month. Once you've registered, we'll send you the logins automatically. Also, check out our unique implementation service. This is a 100% done-for-you program of effective fitness club marketing, and it's supported by the strongest guarantees anywhere in our sector. Click below for details on this incredible service. But right now, let's get back to today's gym hack. Today I want to talk about the power of a good induction presentation. When members join your club, they are as motivated as they're going to be in your entire lifetime with you. They're anxious to understand everything they need to know in order to get the best value from joining your club. You also want to make sure that you have some consistency in the way that all the information that you want to give to your new members is delivered. And the most successful and effective way to do that is to create an induction presentation, an experience where every member of staff responsible for onboarding new members can deliver exactly the same information that you as the club manager owner wants your new members to know. It also helps your members to understand what opportunities they have. When you look at the different ways that people learn, you will see that most people use a combination of the three main areas of communication. Visually, people like to see what it is you're talking about. They like to hear the words, and sometimes and often they like to try out, to put the words and the pictures into action. Now, if you only talk about what your members can do and pass on information audibly, then you miss out on two of the three. So again, having a PowerPoint presentation or a combination of PowerPoint and videos which your instructors talk through at the point of induction, that will help to increase the efficiency with which your members are onboarded. Now, what's in the presentation? There are a number of things, objectives that your club must do at this juncture. The first thing is you need to reinforce the buying decision. You need to show the qualities of the club and deliver this experience in a manner that people believe that they are dealing with a professional and that the organisation that they are joined and committed to has been a good thing to do. There are so many nightmare scenarios, so many scare stories of poor amateurish behaviour in fitness clubs, that whoever is prepared to spend the time and effort to get this consistency of approach throughout their staff team will win hands down. The general atmosphere of the club and the general reputation of the club will be reinforced by having this level of organisation. So you reinforce the buying decision by operating in a very professional capacity. The second thing is that, and probably the most important thing, is to make sure that your members build equipment familiarity. Not being able to work the kit leads to frustration and membership attrition. We know that. The stats are very clear on that. You also want to make sure that you can get your members to a point where they're going to achieve absolute total self-management of their exercise program as quick as possible. Now, in order to do that, you need to explain the steps. It's not likely that you're going to get to that position of success in the induction presentation itself, but what the presentation does is it will reveal the steps that the member can go to where the end result is this point of self-management. Most importantly, self-management and equipment familiarity needs to have some sort of progress monitor on it. People need to know that the whole journey has been worthwhile. So they need to understand how they are able to see the results tangibly and make regular milestones across the new member process that really build the confidence that they are on the right lines, that joining your club, performing the program as you've defined it, is going to give them the results. So you need to explain how you are going to track process and teach the member to do that for themselves. Now, I want to just show you, there are 10 ways to personalize your workouts. Obviously, there are different equipment that you can use. There's a different sequence of resistance training that will allow you to personalize it. It could be a combination of legs to upper body and so on, or it could be a concentrated lower body program and a concentrated upper body. It doesn't really matter with beginners what you use. The next way to personalize your workout is the number of sets that you are likely to perform. And the fourth personalization is the repetition range, and prescribing the right repetition range for your customer based on their requirements is again another way that you can add differentiation, set your club apart, and make sure and deliver tangible results for your customer. Now, in terms of the repetition range, the other thing that you can control and personalize is the speed with which you perform each repetition. And basically, you are creating a defined time under load. We know from all the research now that in order to get the very best returns on time, a slow repetition speed is optimal. So again, you can play around with that. When it comes to your CV equipment, then again, you've got this opportunity to select particular pieces for your individual member and to again play around with a different duration for each CV piece. And it could be that when you're dealing with beginners, because holding their attention is going to be slightly different, you may use smaller time duration exercise dosages but on more pieces of CV kit piece. So let's say, for example, you are trying to create a 30-minute cardio program. Rather than use 1 or 2 pieces for 30-minute or 15 minutes each, you might use 5 for 6 minutes each. And that, what we also know now is that by the variety and the shorter exercise times increases adherence and reduces boredom and frustration and a lack of acceptance. Now, once you've decided on what and how, you then need to do the intensity. At what intensity of heart rate max are you going to be personalizing the workout? Is it going to be at a low level? Is it going to be a high level? Is it going to be a combination? If it's how much of it is going to be at a high level? How much of it is going to be at a low level? So again, you'll see there are lots of ways to personalize the workout. Not just steady state, but you could run intervals for particular types of members. Or even if these are not the initial starter program, these can be promised on the horizon of the new member journey. That one of the things we're going to do is going to look at your program every 6 weeks or every 14 sessions, and we're going to introduce, as we go forward, interval training. So to start with, we may start with steady state at a particular heart rate max, and then we'll move to an interval training as a progression. What that does is it creates a sort of future proofing of the workout, and this idea that your customers are getting into a professionally supervised program, which is going to be changing and moving with them as they get there closer to reach their goals. And obviously at the end of the day is the amount of frequency of use. How many times a week are they going to use? All of this is about you're getting your member to understand your future opportunities. And inevitably, there are going to be questions, not just on the induction today, but going forward. So you need to explain where your customers can go for support and guidance. Where can they go online? Where can they go face to face? How can they get the information that they need at the time they need it? Embarrassment is the most powerful emotion that is going to impact your new members the most. And so your whole role in this induction presentation is to reduce the potential of personal embarrassment. There you have your induction objectives. So now you create your PowerPoint presentation. What's going to happen to you today? Normally the starting point is an overview once you've got your customer sat down, and again, it needs to be properly set up. So you need to invite them to club, sit them down, pull out your presentation, either laptop driven or screen driven or in some sort of printed, laminated folder. But the first slide is going to be what's going to happen to you today. That you're going to download your personal training plan onto your Google Sheet, or you're going to be handing out your program card, that you're going to take part in a body scan and measurement to establish the starting point, that you're going to explain the science behind the exercise selection that you're going to use. We're then going to go into the gym and we're going to teach you your training program and then set up your initial nutrition plan. And then we're going to show you exactly how you can measure that the program is working effectively. Show you how you're going to perform the tests, which is going to reveal the progress that you're making. So you then go into greater detail about your app or your program card, about how you're going to measure the results. So your measuring results could be about heart rate training, and we'd recommend that you use heart rate training as the guide for progress, because it's the test that you'll see the most immediate and fastest reaction to. So let's say, for example, when you first set the induction, let's say you're trying to get your member to exercise between 75% and 85% of their heart rate max. At the induction session, that might be walking on a treadmill at 6 kilometers per hour, for example. And at that point, they are inside their target zone, their training zone. What you'll find is that within 1 or 2 sessions after that, their heart rate drops for this same intensity of exercise. Now, it may well be that at the induction there was a slight stress factor that was elevating the heart rate, but for your member, they're going to think that they are immediately seeing some sort of fitness benefit, and indeed they are. So again, the more evidence that you can produce that your program is working, so your customers are going to get far more motivated and adhere and take part with more enthusiasm and vigor. So you might want to think about strength tests and flexibility tests in tests which are not just delivered by you. Maybe these are home-based. So you ask your member to fill these out on a weekly basis themselves at home. And the club's role is really just to review results. Obviously, there's going to be an obsession with scales. But again, as we all know, if you're going to use any sort of strength training program for any sort of member at whatever fitness level, their body mass will increase due to the increased use of muscle in the early weeks of membership. So it's very important that you use body measurements alongside any sort of body mass register. I don't think it's possible to stop your members climbing on the scales. So you must explain what they're going to see, why they're going to see some sort of 2 or 3 pound weight gain in the early weeks when they expressly asked you that they wanted to lose weight when they first joined the club. So again, that's why you need to have these broad testing concepts that you are going to explain to your new member. So you may well use a food diary and explain the food diary. We need to establish a starting point for your nutrition. So I'd like you to take a random 3 days and I'd like you to write down everything you eat, and then I'll review it and then we'll create your program for you. You may want to give them a stretch program, your new members. So a simple 10 stretch program, which resistant exercises they should naturally follow. And again, that can be delivered online. It can be online, offline, a combination. And then you're going to explain the scan that you're going to have. Now, you might have one of the premium scanning tools, or you might just have a pair of smart scales. It really doesn't matter because the results are going to be largely the same. And it's about how you're going to then come up with a program that's going to alter those numbers and create a follow-up progress session when people will climb back on those smart scales in 6 weeks' time, for example, and compare the results. So the next thing then is to go into the club, go into the gym area, the practical area, and work out the exact nature of your program. And you explain to the customer exactly how that program is going to be tailored. And it's going to be a 20-minute machine-based resistance program, and we'd like you to do it twice a week. We're also going to supplement that with a 20-minute steady-state cardio program, 2 or 3 times a week if that's possible in your routine. By steady state, we mean working within your heart rate max between 75 and 90%. And if you could buy our MyZone belt or our other fitness trackers, that will allow you to find the correct intensity to exercise within those parameters. And you may then want to just explain about the importance of the long rest periods between workouts, the intermittent fasting, the importance of sleep, and good hydration. You may want to talk about the benefits of resistance training, because people, particularly in their later life, third age customers, will not probably be completely aware of the power of muscle and the importance of muscle to increasing and holding metabolic rate and the impact that has on reducing body fat and improving bone density. And conversely, what happens if you don't improve the muscularity of your body, and what does happen to your body fat if you only do cardio programs and not involve some sort of strength gains. And again, you can do the same thing, benefits of steady state heart rate training, explain how they can calculate their training loads, complete strength training tests in the gym so that you can properly identify a unique personalized workout, and then think about how you can chart that workout on a program card that's going to show to you and the member to allow you to coach improvements. Encourage them to use heart rate training tools in order to make sure that they train at the optimum levels. And again, use a program card where they're able to see the session by session results as their heart rate drops for a particular speed and mode. And once their heart rate drops below the zone, below the targeted zone, how you then increase the intensity. And over the course of the 14 session program card that you can see in this particular example, so the intensity will go up. So you can see, members can see the progress that they're making on this particular yardstick, and that's motivating. And so encourage them, again, within this induction presentation, to buy your heart rate trackers. But if they don't, explain to them how to take their pulse. Keep records of all of the stats and inform them of where the stats are going to be kept, when you're going to be reviewing progress in the future, and allow your customers to have access to all the evidence so they can see. And where you're talking about nutrition, so build food diaries. Encourage them to keep within calorie content levels, protein targets, water targets, exercise targets. Tie those nutrition plans back to your scanning targets, your measurement, your scales results, so that you've got this continual improvement program, and your induction presentation explains why this club, your club, is so brilliant at getting the best results for its new members, unlike every other club in town. So at the end of the session, you gather your members back up, come and sit down once the program's been done, and now you go through the what's going to happen after today's session. You may well be suffering from some sort of DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness. Don't worry, this is not a condition that you're going to suffer from for very much longer. It's the body reacting to the new stimulus. And that's important because deconditioned people, inexperienced exercisers, think they're ill. They're too ill to exercise. And you can lose members via DOMS. So you do need to follow up. And if you are going to follow up, commit to it. Tell them it's going to happen. Get agreement. Explain to your members when the future reprograms will take place. Explain to them how they can get more fitness services from them. And then use the quality of your presentation in order to boost referrals. Explain, now that they've had this amazing experience and this presentation of just how magical your fitness club really is, to encourage them to bring their friends, and have a nomination scheme created in which you can ride the wave of enthusiasm by our new members to unlock their network for you. Perhaps, and again we would recommend this, that you create your own website that is unique for members in their first 6 weeks, just with activities and services and opportunities that you want your new members to take part in. As you can see, there's a whole raft of opportunity. So create your own website. It's very cheap to do, and it's so important. And it's going to just accentuate the qualities of your club. And then finally, for those of you operators where personal training is a very big currency that you want to promote, so you can now explain to people and make offers, having set their program, for those that are going to need more training support. You'll see why a presentation, when you are talking about very sophisticated programs of fitness services, is so important. It's going to allow you to develop consistency across all of your staff. When you have new staff, it's going to give you something that they can be trained in. It's not just freestyling it. You'll know that every member is getting the same level of information, so the same opportunity to buy and take part. And so I commend a presentation to you in your induction session. It can evolve over time. It doesn't have to be as expansive as the one I've explained to you today, but it's a tool in your armory for you to always improve your club and to carry all your staff along with you in an organised and systemised manner. Thanks ever so much for listening. See you next time.